Hey Bread Gang, I hope everyone's doing good and keeping safe. In today's video, I'm going to chat to you guys about Aterian. So ticker symbol's ATER. So Aterian is a new stock that I've basically just started covering. So in this video, I'm going to go through the price action. So first of all, who they are as a company, just give you guys an overview for those who don't know. And also go through the price action, so looking at where the price currently is, where I believe it's going to go to, and as well as the price action, I'm going to have a look at the short interest data. But before I get into today's video, make sure you guys subscribe and of course hit that notification bell so you don't miss any further uploads, especially if you're following Aterian or you're invested in it. With that being said, let's get this bread. Aterian, for those who don't know, Aterian Inc., together with the subsidiaries, operates as a technology-enabled consumer products company in North America and internationally. It provides artificial intelligence Mohawk e-commerce engine, a software technology platform which uses machine learning, natural language processing, and data analytics to design, develop, market, and sell products. So as a company, Aterian use artificial intelligence, which is really cool, to help e-commerce businesses out in terms of selling the products. So if you then have a look at the short interest data for ATR, so float on loan, right, 52%, guys. This is a mad one still. 52% are out on loan, right, to short sellers. There's a high chance that it could be a short squeeze. So this percentage equates to 15 million shares out on loan. 52% of shares are out on loan to short sellers. So there's going to be a lot of short sellers trapped if the price starts rising. And I believe this value could increase, especially seeing as the price has been rising. We'll go into that with the price action. But seeing as the price has been rising, a lot of short sellers are already getting trapped. So they might either try to buy to cover the position, or they might short even more, basically hound this price down, right? Get it right down so they can at least get out break even or get out at a small profit. But nevertheless, they don't want to get out at a loss or a big loss. So right now with the insiders, they've got 39 million shares being sold and there's 18 million shares being bought. So 71 transactions to 21 transactions. Analysts actually saying, there's one analyst that's saying this is a hold at the moment. And also I'd like to draw your attention to the PE 12 months forward. So right now the PE ratio is sitting at minus 15. So as a rule of thumb, PE ratio, anything less than 8 is good. Anything above 20 is seen as the price is basically overvalued. So PE ratio, if you're a long-term investor, you should really know about your PE ratio. So PE ratio, price to earnings ratio, if it's high, it's a good measure to see if a company is undervalued. So basically meaning that the price of a share is actually lower than the value of the company. So when Wall Street catches up to that and the price will start rising, basically the price of the share, it matches the value of the company. This is what you used PE ratio to gauge. So if the PE ratio is low, which means that the company is generally seen as undervalued, unless it's a really bad company. But if it's a company with a lot of potential, then long term, then it'll be a great investment. But if a PE ratio is above 20, then basically it's seen as the company is overvalued, etc. So it's likely that there's going to be a sell-off because they're going to be like, you know what, the price of the shares doesn't match the company. The price of the shares is a lot higher than what the company's value is worth. So people start selling the shares, etc., just out of thinking, you know what, it's not actually as valuable as I believe. So PE ratios are very important to keep track of if you're a long-term investor. I'm a long-term investor myself, so it's something I keep track of. I try to find where companies are undervalued and read into the company to see if there's actually a lot of potential, and then buy and then sit on it and watch my returns come in. But anyway, P ratio is something that I've drawn your attention to. It's something that you should really check out. So if you have a look at the chart of Aterian, so in particular looking at the daily chart, and the price is it's made a really, really good bullish run. And as you can see, pretty much started the bullish run from the 23rd of August and went all the way up from $3 to $18. That is insane because it effectively went from a penny stock to not being a penny stock in the matter of a couple of weeks, so that's a really good run. And there's usually a good reason behind that run, and it's usually because people are catching on to a good company, that start investing into this company, and there's a lot of potential, let me get in. And like I was saying, the company was undervalued, so they got in at a very good price, undervalued price, and they've been investing and this price has gone up. So perhaps the price of the shares are actually catching up to the value of the company. So on Friday, the price broke just above the 10 period moving average. So it'll be interesting to see if this week, if the price actually holds above that 10 period moving average. If it does, then that means that the momentum, the bullish momentum, is actually being maintained. I mean, because the last time the price broke above the 10 period moving average was on the 25th of August, basically towards the start of that bullish trend. And since it broke above that, it's just been, basically the momentum's been mad. It's been heading up. So I like to look for the 10 MA. If the price gets above the 10 MA and stays above it for a session or two, then chances are there's going to be a lot of momentum driving that price, either up if it's above it or down if it's below it. So the fact that the price got above the 10 MA and stayed there for a couple of sessions, this was a good sign. And as you can see, there was a huge momentum sending the price from when it broke above it around $4 all the way up to $18. Pretty much got towards the previous resistance. So it was just a huge move, basically sending it from here to above the previous resistance at around $19. And there was some, obviously, as you can see, there was some resistance. The last time the price got to there, created that resistance, the price broke above it and went from there to all the way up to above $40 and then came back down below it. So since the price came down back below it, it's actually, the bears have been trying to keep the price below it since then. So the fact that the bulls have got the price up to test that resistance, and there's a lot of sellers waiting at that point. So $19 is still a key level where a lot of sellers are looking for. So basically, if the bulls manage to break that $19 resistance, then we're going to see a lot of bullish momentum sending this price up to at least testing at least $30, So it's going to send that price all the way up. If it breaks $19, the price is likely to get to that $30 resistance. And then if it breaks that, it's going to go up to test the all-time high. But that's not going to be for a couple of months. And especially seeing as the market is catching up to the value of the company. And being machine learning, artificial intelligence for e-commerce businesses, there's going to be a lot of businesses for them. I think the only problem they're going to have, or potential problem they could have, is not being able to manage the amount of business that they're getting. So as a company, they're going to go from strength to strength, I believe, and the market is going to catch up to that in terms of price. Part of the rally actually saw the price breaking the $12 resistance, so which was previously a support. So the fact that the price is broken above it, if the price stays above this support, basically reestablishes this line or this level as a support. If it stays above there for a couple of sessions, then that'll be good, because the price is likely to actually bounce between this support and the $18 resistance. It's likely that the price is going to be range bound for some time. So the reason why it could go in the range bound is because people are partially taking profits, maybe especially seeing as they've got this huge run up, they might be taking profits, or they might actually be taking some profit off the top, or they might just be closing out the position, which will create a lot of supply, so a lot of selling pressure within the market. And also a lot of bulls, they'll be like, the price has gotten above this resistance of $12, so they would want to keep the price going up even more, so they'll be buying up. So it'll be a fight between bears and bulls for the next couple of days, weeks, or basically potentially the next couple of weeks. There could be a fight between bulls or bears, or the price might actually take off quickly and break that $19 resistance and continue heading up. Only time can tell, and only the market can tell us, but I believe it's likely to be range bound, especially seeing as the price made a huge run up. Okay, so on looking at the RSI, when the price made a huge run up, the RSI got to 82, right? And then the price retraced back down to test that 10 moving average. The bulls held it, so the 10 period moving average right now, or at this point, basically at the point of 16th of September, was holding as a good dynamic support, and saw the price head back up to potentially test that resistance at $19. It didn't quite make that, but if you look at the momentum actually on the RSI, so the RSI momentum went from 82 all the way down to 67. So there is some loss of down all the way down to 67. So there is some loss of bullish momentum there. So there is that variation of RSI divergence, which means that the bullish momentum has been decreasing. So a lot of bears might be looking at this and thinking, let me start selling, especially those short sellers who are trapped or potentially trapped. They'll be trying to hound this, trying to add on to the position, trying to sell, create more selling pressure that will bring this price down, which could potentially bring the price down to basically around this support. So possibly bears will think, I'll be good at my loss being at this support, or breaking even at this point, or even try to bring the price back down to this level or this support that was created at $9. Either way, I believe there's going to be some supply in the market, some bearish activity bring the price down a little bit, whether it's between the range bound of $12 and $19, or maybe possibly break this support at $12 for momentarily, and then the bulls will step back in. But either way, we're likely to see either a range bound or some bearish activity in the market, because the bullish momentum has been decreasing. But if the price does stay within this range for at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks onwards, then this will be a good indication of accumulation. So a lot of people, especially if institutions are getting involved in this, they'll be basically accumulating a position over time so that they can break this resistance at $19 and send this price all the way up to potentially test the all-time high around $50. Now that would be a huge gain. So another reason I believe that there's potential for supply to come in this market, so bearish activity, is if I have a look at the MACD on the daily chart, there's actually the dead cross, looks like it's about to basically be formed. And if you look at the histogram, the bullish momentum is decreasing on the histogram. So matching that with the Rsi divergence, or variation of the Rsi divergence, this shows that, look, there's potentially going to be some bearish activity in the market. But if we want to have a look to see what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks leading into months, let's have a look at the weekly chart. So if we move on from the 10 period moving average and have a look at the 100 moving average, so the price actually just broke above the 100 moving average on the daily. Basically on Friday's session, the price broke above it. Thursday session, the bears tried to bring the price down below it, but there was some bullish rejection. And seen as Friday, the price got above the 100 moving average and stayed above it. And also, if I have a look, the 100 moving average, the line actually coincides with the $12 horizontal support. This shows that not only do we have the horizontal support, we also have dynamic support, being the 100 moving average. And the 100 moving average, if the price stays above that, then for the next 3 months, 3 to 6 months, it's likely that the price is going to be bullish. So if we then have a look at the weekly chart, so going from the 100 moving average on the weekly back to the 10 moving average, the 10 moving average actually serves as a very good momentum indicator. So if the price gets above it, as you can see what happened with the daily chart. So just quickly going on the daily chart, the minute the price got above it, just to reiterate, the minute the price got above it, there was a lot of bullish momentum sending this price flying up. So if we go to the weekly, so the fact that the price has actually got above the 10 moving average and the bulls are actually keeping the price above that. The price got above the 10 moving average on the week of 7th of September. And the next week, there was some bearish activity to bring the price down. But the last week there on the 20th of September closed bullish. So this week, I believe is going to be bullish. Another green candle. Most likely test the $19 resistance and could potentially break it, especially seeing as the RSI value right now is at 50. I mean, it was oversold basically on the 16th of August, and then we started seeing this huge rally all the way up. But there's still a lot of room for this RSI to go. So if we look at the MACD on the weekly, it actually contradicts the MACD on the daily chart. So the MACD on the daily chart was showing that the dead cross is basically, it looks like it's forming, right? But on the MACD on the weekly, it shows that there's a golden cross just being formed. And not only the golden cross being formed, but last week's momentum was very strong on the histogram of the MACD. So a lot of people that just focus on the daily chart, basically short term, etc., they might think, you know what, I'm just going to start selling this. There's going to be a lot of selling pressure. Let me get in. A lot of short sellers might start hopping ball, thinking, you know what, dead cross is coming. But if you look at it longer term, it's actually going to eat all the shares up. There's a lot more bullish momentum on the longer term. But for now, we're keeping our eyes open on that $19 resistance because the bulls just need to get above that. But guys, just remember, these are my thoughts and opinions on what the market's telling me and what I believe the price is going to do based on the data that I'm getting from both the market and also the short interest data. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys subscribe and of course hit that notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know this is the kind of content you like to see, and I'll be coming at you with regular updates of Aterian. And also comment below, let me know your thoughts. Are you currently invested in Aterian? Are you thinking about investing in it? Do you like the stock? Do you just like the company? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.